Yo, make America great again. Let's build it. Nice agents, baby. Yo, make America great again. MAGA nice agents, baby. Illegal stop. Cooperate and listen. ICE is here and they'll put you in prison for crossing the border this time. We're charging all the illegals while the liberals whine. Will they ever stop? Hell no. Lock them all up and send them home. To all the Democrats, I hope you're listening. This time illegal immigration is a federal crime. Tim Walz, I'm coming for you. Investigating all of you fraud lover buffoons. Ilhan, how much cash did you make? I'm exposing Minnesota for the money it takes. Cash, headset, the Tulsi on the way. The Democrats and Douglas Todd plans don't play. Illegals try and cross my borders all. We'll solve it around and find out what my PP resolves it. Yeah. MAGA nice agents, baby. Yeah. MAGA nice agents, baby. Yeah. MAGA nice agents, baby. Yeah. Now the Democrats are freaking, cause the lies of DEI and all the fraud I'm leaking. Quick to file them all, they're shaking. I'm locking Dems up for the laws they're breaking. Genders, there's still only two. Men are not allowed in a female's bathroom. Crazy that this had to be a law. The strait might be closed, but not for very long. Justice is coming back real soon. Ukraine was all the money that Sleepy Joe sent you. CBS is on a new high, watching all the libs cry. Should I stop? Nah, I just wave high, watching all the snowflakes melt while I help America try to tighten its belt. The Dems don't want to play ball, so I continue to RFK. Eat more healthy, all kinds of strict. Don't worry, I got you. Pelosi and Trump can no longer hunt you. Freedom! Let's try this one more time. Me with the truth while the Democrats lie. Ready for the impeachment they'll try. Can promise one thing, AOC is gonna cry. If there is a problem, I promise I'll solve it. America's back and I'm just getting started. Yeah. MAGA nice agents, baby. Yeah, yo man, let's make America great again. Sending Ilhan back to Somalia.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Newman, aka Good Logic. I got a lot of big stories for you tonight, things you didn't hear about. I've got basically me being proven right yet again. No, that's not listed anywhere in the thing. If you see like tearing there, that's just me dropping. I've been dropping eye drops like crazy, trying to deal with a little eye issue I got. But no, not pink eye. It's okay. It's not pink eye. You don't know. Anyhow, what do we got going on tonight? Well, a new vid just dropped, which is basically showing what happened with respect to Cole Allen's attack on Saturday when he tried to assassinate President Trump. And we have new video breakdown, which I want to review with you. Also, a Nazi tattooed Democrat is leading the senatorial race to try and unseat the ever unpopular and properly so Susan Collins. And I want to break down exactly what the deal is with that. Plus, we have Paxton taking on birther tourism in a lawsuit where he is looking to just dismantle and stop it from going on in his state, one of the biggest birther tourism entities in his state. He's basically taking them on in court, saying we need to just stop this. He's not relying on the Supreme Court coming out there and eradicating and upholding Trump's EO on birther tourism. He wants this to stop and stop now. I'm looking for injunctive relief as well as other forms of relief. We're going to break all that down for you and more. Plus, tonight we have a goal. What is your goal tonight, Joey? Well, tonight's goal is if we get our regular 15 super chats in quantities of $10 or more, 15 of those, in that case, we will be having, I'll be doing two things for you. Two for the price of one. I need to incentivize. I understand. I too work better with incentives. Why would I expect anyone to not work with incentives? I work for incentives. That's just human nature. See, incentives are this. I got like a song that had me laughing out loud. That is so good. I needed to break it down for you. I'm not just going to share it with you. I'll share with you. I'll break down to you just the genius of this song. Unbelievable. It will probably result in me singing. So if we hit our goal, I apologize in advance. Also, if we hit tonight's goal, I will, in addition, have a show Saturday nights. So there you go. So there's two real goals there. It's 2 real goals. I know we're starting late. You're starting late. It's harder to reach a goal. I get that. I understand that. But I'm just saying, there's real incentives. It's like, a lot of people, they put up just goals. And it's like, what happens if I hit my goals? Oh, well, I'll sit there and you'll see me juggle 3 balls. No one wants to see you juggling, Clyde. Okay? Just stop with the juggling. No one cares. No. I'm giving you real goals. These are goals. These are goals that you're like, wow, you know what? Joe's putting up. He's putting up. So there you go. And along the way, of course, I'm bringing into you my good buddy over here, of course, that is Jim. Jim Tells You. How are you, my friend?
Goals. That's a great song by Motley Fool.
That's not the song I'm breaking down. No. It's a much better song. It's a much better song than ZZ Top ever could have come up with. Okay? This is far more original than anything ZZ Top ever did. Really.
I know why you like ZZ Top, though, because it's the beards. You're a fan of the beards.
And the beards always struck me as a little weird. It felt actually surprisingly unrelatable to me. I'm just saying. They're a little bit much. They're a little bit much. They're like these like wizard beards. It's not like you're saying I would feel comfortable because of like the whole, I guess Jewish rabbi beard.
No, I just thought, I mean, they didn't have, they don't wear hats. So.
Right.
I mean, no hats at all.
Right.
I think. Maybe they do wear hats.
I think they do wear hats.
Like cowboy hats or baseball hats or something?
They wear something. I think they wear something.
They only wear sunglasses at night.
Anyway, so I really want to get to this song. I also want to share one more thing. I don't know why this just made me giggle. I want to share something with you that this just made me giggle before we get into our stories tonight. This just made me it's crude. It's childish humor. The real reason Titanic sunk. Right there. So I don't know why. It's just like a little clip that just made me like, I was like, this is childish, but it's funny. It's funny. Can I also share with you something, since you brought up the beards thing, something that really ticked me off when I saw this? Apparently this happened yesterday, but it didn't fly across my radar until today. And this really bugged me. I was just like, why? Why does stuff like this happen? Why? Why does stuff like this happen? Candace Owens and Hassan Piker are to be officially condemned by a bipartisan House resolution for their anti-Semitism. The resolution will be introduced by Representatives Lawler and Gottheimer.
You can't tell. He could just be German.
You think?
I'm just saying he could be.
You think?
I mean, Lawler doesn't sound very Jewish name.
No,
right?
Lawler is someone who is routinely. I haven't checked his AIPAC donations, but I'm pretty sure. I would bet anything based on his level of support.
Well, he's left of center though too. He's like what you call a rhino.
I don't like Lawler. I don't know who the heck Gottheimer is. Even though he's from New Jersey, he's from my state in New Jersey. I have no idea who the heck he is. Owens and Piker are openly anti-Semites. Soon will be on the federal record. Okay, let me explain something to you. Are they openly anti-Semites? In my personal opinion, 1,000%. Yes. Is this resolution make any sense? No. I don't need you to call out the anti-Semites. I don't need you. That's not why I put you in Congress. I didn't put you in Congress.
If they were in Congress, if these were Congress people, like if they wanted to do this about Ilhan Omar or Khalid, that would be one thing because they shouldn't be doing this to U.S. citizens, which I don't know is is Piker a citizen? I don't know. There's a good question.
Why are we doing this?
But this just seems like it's just adding fuel to the fire.
All it does is basically make it sound as if Jews control Congress. That's all this looks like. Why would you be? It's like literally, this creates more anti-Semitism than Candace Owens and Hassan Piker put together. This resolution creates more anti-Semitism than you take every statement, everything that has ever been said by Candace Owens and Hassan Piker. This resolution creates more anti-Semitism than any. Why are you doing this idiocy? I can't stand this. I hate this. This is your classic Jewish leftist who's like, oh, we're going to show how important we are. We're going to silence them. It's just stop it. Oh, my God. I get so annoyed at this. Like, really, just shut the hell up. It's like, oh, we're going to call attention to the anti-Semites. That's really going to clamp it down. Oh, what is it? What is possibly achieved? If you had every person in Congress signing off on this, which you won't, and you shouldn't. If I was in Congress, I'm telling you now, not that that will ever happen, but if I were in Congress, I would get up there screaming from the rooftops about how this is the stupidest thing, and I would be wearing my little hat there proudly, saying you're all a bunch of idiots, childish idiots, fools. And you're actually creating anti-Semitism. That's what I would do. One day when I get elected to Congress, which will never happen, but when that happens, I'm telling you now, nonsense like this comes down the pike, I'll stand up there and I'm going to say, you're all a bunch of idiots. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassment to Congress. Our founding fathers would be humiliated. Yeah, I can't stand anti-Semites. I can't stand people who are genuinely racist against black people, Hispanic, or any other freaking race. Okay? I don't like racists. Racists suck. Racists are terrible. But the only thing worse than that is Congress getting up here, calling attention to, hey, that guy's a racist. That woman doesn't like Jews. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Bunch of stupid children. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Yes, I know. Brian Harpole, this is an interesting point. Brian Harpole sued Candace Owens today for defamation. I actually have a copy of the lawsuit. It's 69 pages. I thought about going, in case you don't know who Brian Harpole is, he was security covering the event where Charlie Kirk got killed. And there are many statements that Candace made, basically attacking him for his what she alleges is his negligence or willful negligence or whatever. Some terrible statements she's made about him, and he's suing her for defamation. You had thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I put in the private chat, there is a video of Candace, of her going to church, which you might find interesting, like, to prove that she's not, to say, devil spawn or something.
Oh,
and
you're saying that she didn't incinerate when she walked through the doors?
Well, you'd have to watch it to see what happens. I'm not going to spoil it.
All right. I'll share this. I'll share this. I knew it!
Like straight out of the movie, The Exorcist.
Yeah. Needs to stab the beast in the heart and then cut off the head. And I want to be 1,000% clear. I'm not saying anyone should do that to real life Candace.
In video games.
Right. I definitely, I'm not joking at all. I don't want anyone to actually harm Candace Owens. Well, there you go. Yeah. So.
The only thing that was worse than that, Joe, was the SPLC's new fundraising videos.
The SPLC's new fundraising.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right.
Well, I mean, but since they're supporting Plattner for governor, I'm pretty sure that's why they put this video out.
We are going to cover this. We are going to cover this. Maybe we'll save this.
Save it for when you go over Plattner.
Let's save it for when we get to Plattner. Yeah, I think that'll be appropriate when we start talking about Mr. Graham Plattner. Anyway, yeah. So in case anyone misunderstood, what I was trying to say about this ridiculous House resolution, yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't like it. It's not something I would do or support. So I hope that was clear. I hope that was clear. Nana Rose. Cornyn's campaign is slinging all the money can make up at Paxton. What a loser. I don't think he's got a chance. I think he's drowning. I think his career is drowning, to be clear. Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat. Much obliged to you as always. Kimmy, does this have Congress violating 1A? I don't think it's violating 1A. I don't think so.
I mean, it's just a resolution. If it was some kind of law, then it would be what's known as damn it. My brain just went completely a bill of attainder. If it was some kind of law, it's just a resolution. So I don't think it could be called a bill of attainder, right?
A bill of attainder is when you write a law about a particular individual.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But
I mean, Congress should never be singling out citizens for review.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. And it's not just doesn't help. It actually results in the exact opposite of what your objective is. So whichever Jews were motivating Lawler and Gottheimer to like do this nonsense, basically should have they should be stripped of any influence in Congress because they're just walking disasters. Like everything that Democrats do, and this is the most Democrat thing in the world, everything they do has literally the opposite impact of what you would believe its objective is supposed to be. Can a house condemn my local middle school for taking away flesh-colored crayons from the crayon box? These are things that representatives should really be focusing on. Yes, that should happen. That should happen. This is something when we were growing up as kids, we had flesh-colored crayons. This is something that we had. And basically part of the whole wokeism, and that's part of the funny song that I have, is basically about how woke is dead. Really funny song. If we hit our goal, which we're off to a flying start so far, I'm not going to kid you. But yeah, it's something that I agree with JH completely. We should be focusing on this. I want my flesh-colored crayons back. I do. But it's not sensitive. I do want to alert Rumble, the ghetto, that for one reason or another, no matter how I try, I don't see chat. I don't see their chat.
I don't see their chat. Did you never set up the API for the chat in Rumble?
I don't know.
There's a special thing. Okay, I'll explain it to you. Tomorrow,
I know you walked me through it.
No, but
you did it with me once before, where I can
specific thing for no, I'm not talking about
Rumble chats.
I'm talking about you should see them like you should see Rumble chats in your in your StreamYard on the right. It should be showing up. I'm seeing them.
Wait, no, I'm not seeing that, but I don't get to see the super chats. I don't
get to see the rants. You need the rant stats. You want me to pull it up for you?
If rants come in and you can just sort of like share them with me in the private chat, that'd be awesome, because I feel like left out. Even the demons believe in tremble. Well, apparently that's the point of that video there. Anyhow, I also want to talk with you a little bit about what's going on with respect to implementation of the yesterday's Louisiana versus Calais. You covered that, I'm sure, on your channel, right?
Oh, yeah. You're going to talk about the ruling that came out today?
Which ruling are you referring to?
Well, the ruling from a court that said they are forbidden to use those racist maps. They have to make new ones.
Right. The Louisiana court came out and said, as a result, based on the Supreme Court decision from yesterday, that they have to stop with their racist against white maps.
But we don't have to. We just could say racist. They're racist maps. No, that's the thing. No racist maps allowed.
No racist maps are allowed. And these, you don't like me saying racist against whites? Because it's
not just racist against whites. It's also racist against Asians. It's also racist against American Indians. It's also racist against,
But these particular maps are racist against white people.
Racist against anyone that's not the groups that they made them specifically for, I would say.
Okay. I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. I can go along with that. I guess I can go along with that. Let's because what we have is Hakeem Jeffries is freaking out, and this is where I was proven right. Do you know that I was proven right?
About what?
Yesterday, when I was talking to Sin about Louisiana versus Calais. I don't know if it's Calais or Calais, whatever it is.
It's probably Calais because it's French, you know.
Makes sense. So I was talking about Louisiana versus Calais and just how utterly destructive this is to the Democratic Party. I think that this is going to be crippling.
I have been seeing reporting from good sources saying that this could cost, like if the Republicans don't screw around, if they actually go, boom, we're doing this. We're going to do just like Massachusetts, just like Maryland, just like Maine, Connecticut, all those states on the northeast, up in the northeast corner of the country. We're going to do just like them, and we're going to district for maximum political advantage. They're talking 30 seats.
It's certainly several dozen, and everyone that's taken from a Democrat is one gained by Republicans. Every seat ends up netting 2 to the total in favor of Republicans, and this is they have literally there's like 40 more Democrats in Congress than should be currently, which means there should be another 40 Republicans. If you actually go through the numbers, we should have a lead in the House of like 80 people.
Something else I found out today that I don't know why I didn't know. I mean, I pay attention to news. I'm on top of everything. I mean, I've been on news and doing stuff for 10, 15 years. Always watch, every day trying to get the news. The actual reason that Texas had to do the redistricting was because the Biden administration did not let them redistrict in 2021. They didn't get to do a redistricting. They got sued.
The Biden administration.
Yes. And that it wasn't until the Trump administration came in and said, no, we're not suing you over this. Go ahead. This is ridiculous.
Well, I thought there was a decision that came out in 2024, which they relied on as a basis to redistrict. So
no, but that was the decision was the Trump administration dropping the law.
No, I mean, it was a court decision that the Fifth Circuit reversed its previous holding as far as mixing together different minorities for the purposes of creating a majority minority district. So I'm not sure. Maybe you saw something different than I saw.
That they did not get to do redistricting because they didn't get to change any districts for the population growth or anything that happened because the Biden administration sued them to stop the new map.
Oh, so that's a different issue.
That's a different they never got to do it.
Okay, so they probably were saddled by both of those issues. To be fair. Anyhow, what I said last night, because I predicted, I was like, if you're the Democrats, what do you do? What do you do? You're basically looking at never seeing control of the House ever again. Like that's not a tenable position for the Democratic Party. But that's the reality that they're facing right now, that they can because they've been so reliant on these special districts for 40 years. And now that's going away. And it could be going away even harder than what I was thinking about, because, I'll show you why later.
I think there's some districts in Democrat states that can be challenged on compactness and geographical continuity, whatever it's called, congruity. Like they're supposed to be, it's in the Voting Rights Act.
Contiguity.
I don't know.
Anyway. Like contiguous.
Contiguous. Okay, yeah. So there's actual language in the Voting Rights Act that says districts have to be contiguous and have to be compact. Like these districts are not. You look at Illinois, you look at New York, you look at California's new maps, these ones in Virginia, even if that ends up, I don't think that's going through. I think that's not happening. The Virginia Supreme Court refused to put a stay to let them, on the order to let them start doing anything. He said, no, you're not doing nothing.
Well, I'll push back on that a little bit, because whenever one party puts together a map, the other party is always taking them to court to complain about it. This is invariably what happens. And a court looks at it and says, and one of the arguments they make is it's not contiguous, it's not compact. That's exactly the sort of arguments they make, because under the Voting Rights Act, they were basically handcuffed. So that would always be the claim the Republicans would make, and it would go through court. Sometimes it's successful. Kathy Hochul's maps were basically knocked out when she tried putting in maps a few years back, and the court said, "Yeah, these are retarded. These are retarded maps."
Trying to divide Staten Island up into like 3 separate congressional districts to get rid of the Republican. It's like, what?
She was ridiculous, and so much so the court's like, this isn't going to fly. But anyhow, yesterday I made a prediction because I said, "What?" I'll ask you, if like an alien came and invaded your brain and you became a Democrat, what would you want? What would you do in this scenario?
Plot sedition, like they're doing, I guess, because that's what they're doing. You got Seth Moulton out there saying that Hegseth has committed war crimes and should be executed.
Well, okay, that's one method. But if you're a person in power, you don't want sedition because that sometimes doesn't blow in. Sometimes the winds of change don't really blow in your favor. No, what I actually predicted yesterday they would do is this, and that's why I say over time we should start seeing more and more of these districts flipping as more of these redistricting maps end up coming. This is not the right one. Dang it. Why do I keep getting the wrong one up here? This is so annoying. I apologize. Whoa. Let me get the right map. Let me get the right one up here. Where are you? I'll pull it up from StreamYard because that's where I'll get it easiest, I think. StreamYard.
What did I have a wild episode earlier?
Did you?
Ooh. It was supposed to be about Project Bluebeam. I let Grok do everything, pick the title, pick the topic, pick everything, get the description, pick this where I'm going to get the information from. And it was not anything that had anything to do with Project Bluebeam that I know about.
Try to
I'm like, it basically turned into Jewish space lasers. I was like, are you what? What?
That's funny.
It is. It was like you can't trust Grok.
This was me last night.
People do crazy things. They try to flail and destroy and burn everything down because, well, that's just what they do. They have no other option. And so at this point, packing the court is, if I think about it logically, is their only option.
That's what I predicted. That's what I think we should foresee happening over the next.
They won't be able to do it without the House.
Couple of years is that
not
this
true.
Court is going to be.
Yeah, no. There's the Judiciary Act of 1896 that sets the number at 9.
So you can. They'll as soon as they gain presidential power, he's going to put an EO in there saying we need to have more, and then you're going to need the Supreme Court to shoot it down, which they likely would try to do. But I'm saying they're definitely the effort is going to be made for them to try and pack the courts. That's what we should anticipate them doing. I'm telling you now, they are definitely going to do whatever they can to try to come up with a way to pack the courts so they can overturn this because they have no chance of getting the House. And sure enough, what I predicted last night is exactly what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said just today.
In the new Congress, we're going to have to do something about this Supreme Court. And let me be very clear. Everything is on the table.
Wait, everything is on the table? He wants to execute him?
He's talking about packing the court.
Oh, okay.
That's what
you say everything. I'm like, everything? Everything.
Deal with this corrupt MAGA majority that is issuing political opinions that are designed to bolster the prospects of the Republican Party, and we will not allow them to succeed.
Heard my dogs there in the background. They agree. Leader Jeffries, thanks as always. Appreciate you.
Thanks much. In the new
so that's
I don't understand why this is the case anyway. I mean, so they're basically saying that white Democrats won't vote for a black guy because white Republicans vote for black people all the time. My representative is Byron Donalds, and I gladly voted for him, and I'll vote for him for governor, and I have no problem with it. I mean,
it's always about Democrat power. Whatever it is, that's what they're claiming. Yeah, that's what they're going to make. Whatever claim they think will resonate with the morons in their group. So Yeah, that's essentially
I mean,
what
a
he's
black
saying.
woman ran as a Republican for the governorship of South Carolina, or Virginia. I'm sorry, Virginia, and they elected a white woman instead. So they're clearly the racist. The Democrats wouldn't vote for a black person.
Apparently.
That's the only thing I could take from it.
Is Ron DeSantis racist if he's mocking Hakeem Jeffries?
No,
doing
no, he'd be racist if he did it. You treat everybody equally.
This is him imitating Hakeem Jeffries.
We're gonna do maximum warfare against Republicans.
Okay, that might have been a little.
Republicans, you F around, you're gonna find out all this stuff. And what I said was, listen, and he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're gonna take out all your members, we're gonna do all this stuff. And what I said was, go ahead, make my day. You don't think we're gonna? You want to come down here and spend money in Florida? Roll the dice and take your chances, but don't.
Very quiet.
I know. I don't know how to get boosted on Brave. It's very frustrating to me.
They have this. Brave should have the same. You should be able to get it. You just got to search for the. You got to go for plugins. It's the same. They have a plugin store, same as everything.
They have a plugin store.
Yeah, just like it's a Brave plugin store, just like there's a Google plugin store. But Brave actually uses the same plugins as Google, I think.
Should I try getting it right this second?
If you want, you could try.
Volume boost
Plugin.
Brave.
I think it's called like Volume Masters, the best one.
Volume Master?
Yeah. It's an extension, not a plugin. My bad.
Yeah, I know. All right. Why is this not? I don't want to.
VSync is saying that Brave uses the Google store.
Download Volume Master. Add to Brave. Add extensions. All right, Volume Master has been added.
You can do the same thing with that rant stats network, but I have it pulled up for you. You do have a rant, but it's not a big deal. So for yourself, when you're by yourself, it's just called rant stats. Same place, same store.
All right, let's see if this works.
Down here, issue threats to us, and somehow you're going to make us flinch. That is not happening, and in fact, it did not happen. Because as soon as he came out and started doing that last week, Florida legislature turned around and they passed a new map.
That's better. I'm all happy. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, anyhow. So that was Ron DeSantis basically.
I mean, he tiptoed on the line with the voice because it didn't really sound like Hakeem Jeffries. It sounded more like, I don't know, somebody talking to, the Tar Baby. And that old, remember that Sound of South, Tar Baby, and the little thing, Briar Rabbit?
I actually always thought that's like worse than the N-word.
What? It's a name of a character. I wasn't saying, no, it's a character in. No. It's the character in the cartoon thing. I'm not calling anybody that name.
What is a cartoon?
Yeah. With Briar Rabbit.
Wait.
And a baby falls into the tar, gets all stuck with tar and all this stuff. It's like a whole thing. It's a story about it's like a children's story.
Really?
Yeah.
My mama didn't read this one to me.
Well, okay. I think, Uncle Remus was the guy's name. Yeah.
Okay.
I would never call somebody that.
No, I was sitting here. I was like, he keeps saying it. I was just, I don't know.
Briar Rabbit? I can't say Briar Rabbit.
No, Brian Rabbit. Yeah, that I don't think there's no problem with that. That wasn't the word. That wasn't the phrase. That's the one you. Yeah, is that really the two words you thought that I was saying as kind of racist?
I think it's from the Disney movie Song of the South. Yeah, it's from a Disney movie.
Okay.
I know I didn't just imagine that. Like,
you know who else is really upset? Aside from Hakeem Jeffries.
Elite.
Do you know who else is really not happy?
Well, I would imagine Debbie Wasserman Schultz ain't happy.
She ain't happy.
In Florida. But.
Yeah, she's not happy, but she was going to lose her. She was going to lose her seat no matter what. No. What we're talking about, the person who's really upset, the person who's really now discriminated against, the person who's facing more oppressions than anyone in society. The most oppressed person on the planet is obviously Sonny Hostin.
Oh yes, okay.
Ito argued that the vast social change has occurred throughout the country, and particularly in the South, indicating that racism no longer exists in this country. I can tell you, as a black woman.
I would never guess that. I would say she was like Puerto Rican or something.
I could tell you, as a black woman, whenever someone comes out and tells you something as a black woman, you are about to be lied to. By the way, I don't like when people say as a Jew, as a gay person, or anything else like that either. That's all like whatever. I'll talk about Jewish stuff all the time, but I won't preface it by saying it as a Jew. I'll tell you this is what Torah says. But I don't come out here standing on a soapbox saying that my opinion now matters more. I'm just telling you, I'll tell you what it says. But as a black woman, here she is. She's coming out speaking for black women over here with her little blonded hair on her. With her multi-million-dollar salary, wearing her designer clothing, talking to you about how oppressed she is.
That my father was born in 1949.
No one cares.
He remembers segregated schools.
No one cares. No one cares.
He remembers segregated water fountains.
No one cares.
He remembers that he did not have full civil rights, and
he didn't.
Wait.
He didn't.
He didn't. But I would really be interested to know where her father grew up. Because he did not grow up in the Deep South. None of that stuff's true.
All right. I mean, I don't really care whether she's lying or not, because there were some black people who were dealing that, who were her father's age.
He told me when I turned 40 years old that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights, and he is still alive today.
What does that mean? Her father was enjoying full civil rights at that point in time. So I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Let's wait, but what could have happened when she turned 40? I think I know what it was that happened when she turned 40. You want to know what it was?
That's when she got her skin lightening operation?
No. When Obama got elected president.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, it has to be. What else could it be? I mean, she's obviously like maybe in her 50s, maybe.
Well, this would be 18 years ago. So you're saying when I turned 40 years old, I don't know. I don't believe this conversation even happened. I think she's lying. I would be shocked if this conversation happened. But yeah, this is what her father is. She's poor oppressed Sonny Hostin.
And I am still alive today, and I have been discriminated.
Are you still alive today? Because it seems as if your brain died some time ago.
Against, and now I have to tell my children that they have less civil rights than I did when I was born.
That's true.
That is disgusting, despicable, and I am devastated.
Now it's when she was born?
I am devastated.
Wait, so now it happened. Her civil rights came when she was born.
No one knows what the hell she's talking about. But she's a black woman, speaking as a black woman. She's like she's a very fair-skinned black woman who's devastated about how oppressed she is. I just would have
to ask, was this before or after she had to talk with her kids?
Right. Poor Briar Patch Sonny Hostin. When she was a baby, when she was a Briar Patch baby. She was more blessed than her kids are today. I don't know what the hell that even means. She's still alive. Her kids are still alive. What the hell are you even talking about?
By this particular Supreme Court decision, even though we did know this was coming.
Wait a second. What about Clarence Thomas? Didn't he stick up for his own?
No.
Didn't he stick up? They're so warped in the head. They are so insanely warped in the head. Oh my gosh, he's a race traitor. I can't believe this. How did he not stick up?
Clarence Thomas, I think, from what I could gather on my non-legal mind from reading what he wrote, he wanted to get rid of the whole Voting Rights Act.
Yeah, his concurrence is like, you're not going nearly far enough. This is insanity. Like, this is airhead over here. So what about Clarence Thomas? Didn't he stick up for his own? Which only goes to show you what they think the Supreme Court is supposed to be. It's all about like voting on race. It's like voting.
That's why they picked the I don't know what a woman is.
This is such an embarrassment that this show is still on the air.
He did not. He did not.
No.
And he was part of the majority here.
Yeah.
This has repercussions.
My God. It's like this is what society is tuning into. How it is that they're still on the air. It's just astonishing to me. It's really astonishing. But poor oppressed Sonny Hostin is having a very, very rough day. Very, very rough day. Kimmy Hunt saying even the Fifth Circuit ruled against Biden administration, no race districting. Yeah, that was a decision that happened in 2024. So that's what led Harmeet Dillon to push things forward, telling you have to redistrict. So in fact, once I'm mentioning Harmeet, I will share with you that this happened today, because this is relevant to Harmeet Dillon, that the Senate sent Harmeet Dillon a letter. And in that letter,
So according to Andy Gorski, she turned 40 in 2009. She's currently 57.
That makes sense. Yeah, so that's around when she was 40. You're right. It's a good call.
Yep.
That was a very good call. So what the Senate wrote to Harmeet Dillon and Todd Blanche was this. Dear Acting Attorney General Blanche and Assistant Attorney General Dillon, I write in my capacity as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee Subcommittee on the Constitution, which has overall responsibility for constitutional rights, civil rights enforcement, voting rights enforcement, and the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. I also write to support and encourage the department's efforts to restore the Civil Rights Division to its proper mission, enforcing the Constitution and the civil rights laws as written, not as vehicles for racial engineering or partisan litigation. The Supreme Court decision, yesterday's decision in Louisiana versus Calais, gives the department an important opportunity to do just that. I write to urge you to seize this opportunity to protect Americans by enforcing Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, meaning nothing racist at all. No, don't allow for racist special districts. The Attorney General has ample authority to act here. In Section 12 of the Voting Rights Act, Congress expressly empowered the AG to bring actions for the United States or in the name United States to prevent violations of Section 2. So now, basically by leaving the Voting Rights Act in place, it's empowering Harmeet Dillon and Todd Blanche to go after states that now have these minority special districts that are basically trying to punish people for being white. To prevent, the department has repeatedly used that authority to sue states, counties, cities, school districts, and other political subdivisions under Section 2. That same authority can now ensure Section 2 is enforced faithfully after Calais. The point is straightforward. If DOJ had authority to invoke Section 2 against so many districts in the past, it also has authority to ensure that Section 2 is no longer deployed as a pretext for unconstitutional racial gerrymanders. After Calais, enforcing Section 2 includes preventing Section 2 from being misused and remediating past abuses. So that was a letter that was sent by Senator Eric Schmidt, and Harmeet responded, Senator, we are on it. Justice Department under Todd Blanche continues to prioritize equal protection of laws for all Americans, be it employment, housing, education, and voting. So we should anticipate that this DOJ is going to very aggressively go after states that are not actively trying to remedy the flaws that they have in their voting districts, in that they are still employing these racially based special districts, because racially based special districts are illegal. So
I'm still bothered by Sonny Hostin. Like, who did this to her father? You know, who was Jim? Where did the Jim Crow laws come from? Who did those things? Who forced the drinking water fountains, and who did these things in the segregation? It was all Democrats, and it was all Democrats no matter where you were. In cities in the north that redlined neighborhoods and forced people to live here and trapped them in ghettos, it was all Democrats. In the south, it was all Democrats that passed these laws. Never a Republican.
This is true. This is true. But you know,
and the Voting Rights Act, all right, for the record, this whole thing with the Voting Rights Act, the fucking reason they had to do it was because of Democrats. Democrats in the South were packing and cracking so that they could keep, you know, that was it. And they're just still the same shit. They do it all the time.
Preach. Go.
No, I'm just saying, it was the Democrats. Everything was the Democrats. They did all the stuff. The Democrats, because it was a one-party state in the South. Prior to Nixon, it was a one-party state in the South. It was all Dixiecrat Democrats everywhere. They controlled everything. I mean, look at the Battle of Athens, which was right after World War II, where people had a fight. White and black people had a fight so that their votes would fucking count because of Democrats. It's always the Democrats.
Always. And they're still easily the far more racist party today. It's not even close. Trump and GOP needs to jump ahead of Democrats and pack SCOTUS with 4 Scalia textualists, have a lead on Thomas, pick and name them. The problem is that whatever number we pack, they can literally triple it. The packing is a never-ending war. It's really a never-ending war. So if they put in 4 justices, they can literally just add 20 justices. It's a never-ending war. In the end, we can have like 700 justices in there as they just keep packing and packing. So yeah, it's a stupid approach, but it is.
I don't know what the Supreme Court would do if the case gets to them. Like, oh, is this statute enforceable? To put limits on what these things could do because it was passed by Congress and signed by the president. I mean, Article 3 does say Congress has roles with the federal judiciary, but does it say they have roles over the size of the Supreme Court? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but if a president signs an EO saying I'm packing the court, then we'll hear from the Supreme Court as to whether or not they have the authority. Now, you would think that in the interest of their own survival, the Supreme Court would say, no, you don't. And then they would have to spell out how it gets done. So, but
yeah, I mean, what happened when, the last time this came up was with FDR, another straight communist.
There was a threat by FDR.
Right, a threat to
but it was expanded. How was it expanded last time? I never looked into that. Let's ask Brock.
It was expanded 1896 was when it went to 9.
Yeah, but what was the method for expansion?
Congress passed the statute.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But like, and that's where that phrase comes, a stitch in time saves 9 or something like that, where we're going to let you do some of this. Because some of the laws that they said were constitutional that weren't, one of them being the NFA, was because of the threat to pack the court.
Well, that's why they applied the Wickard case, basically approved the New Deal.
Yep.
By the way, I've recently been reviewing the miniseries House of Cards just because I need to be on top of pop culture. And I'm in the middle of going through this series.
You're on top of something, but it's about 10 years behind.
I was being a little facetious.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being 100%. Like I was going to start that new show, Mad Men. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to get to that hot new Sopranos thing. Yeah. So, so I started going through House of Cards, and I couldn't even believe, which the main character is Frank Underwood, who's played by Kevin Spacey, and his wife Claire Underwood, played by Robin Wright of the Princess Bride fame, the main character from Princess Bride.
I just remember her from she was Sean Penn's wife for a minute.
Was she really?
Yeah,
that's wild.
It was Robin Wright Penn.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I was astonished by some of the stuff, just like how it's so clearly written by Democrats, because they actually have him as a Democrat president being interviewed by actual real TV hosts for certain things that they clearly, paid TV hosts. And Stephen Colbert in one segment is going hard mocking a Democrat president. And I was just like, this is so stupid. I can't even for a second imagine a scenario where Stephen Colbert would be, ranking on a Democrat president. That it's so.
Was it the Colbert show, or was it because the Colbert show he was pretending to be right wing? Supposedly.
Yeah, but even pretending to be right wing, he wouldn't be like lacing into a Democrat president to his face. That would never, ever, ever happen. There's so many moments like that where I'm just like, this is so not. This is so ridiculous. Some of the drama is good, but some of it is just. Anyhow, I want to finish up with this whole election thing. And this redistricting. And before we close out this story here, I want to share with you Scott Jennings talking about our election integrity potentially being remedied, at least in one state, which is in the state of Oregon.
A little breaking news here on the Scott Jennings Show. There's been a major victory in the fight to clean up voting rolls in the United States of America, specifically in the state of Oregon. Here to discuss the man who made it possible. His name is Tom Fitton. He's the president of Judicial Watch. Tom, thanks for joining us. Tell us, we spoke about this a couple of months ago. You were fighting to get all of these fraudulent names off the voting rolls in Oregon. Tell us, what was the result?
The result is that Oregon's voting rolls are going to be significantly cleaner by a factor, or by literally 800,000 names when all is said and done.
800,000.
They had a new Oregon secretary.
They don't have a high population in Oregon. I think it's only like 3-4 million.
800,000. Yes. It was like 40% of their registered voters were like bad.
We had sued. He saw essentially that we were right and started cleaning up the rolls.
Wow.
We found that 29 of Oregon's 36 counties had removed virtually zero registrations as they're supposed to. And many of the counties, the 35 or 36 of the counties, had more people on the rolls than were living there and eligible to vote. So they hadn't cleaned up the rolls since 2017. So we had the federal lawsuit coming and going. The new Oregon Secretary of State came in, and we've settled. So not only are the rolls being cleaned, but they're being cleaned in an enforceable way, meaning if they don't do what they promise and don't clean up the rolls, and more importantly, keep them cleaner as things go on, meaning they're good. Names get bad every year. People move every year. People die every year. So this is not just a one-off. It's going to continue. So it's a great victory for election integrity in Oregon, which is, I think everyone votes by mail practically there.
So let's just do the math here. You said 800,000 names are coming off the voter roll in Oregon. How many people live there to begin with? This is a massive percentage of what was the existing registered voter rolls in what is a relatively small rural state.
Yeah, I don't have those total numbers in front of me, but it's about 20%, my guess is, right? When you add the, and Oregon says, well, they're inactive. It means that, they don't get ballots. Well, that's ridiculous. If you're on the voting rolls, you're on the voting rolls. You're registered to vote. And it's a pool of dirty names from which fraudsters can draw, which is why federal law requires you to take reasonable steps to clean up the rolls. The rolls are never going to be perfect, right? Because it changes daily. But you got to take these reasonable steps, and not cleaning them in 10 years is not reasonable.
There are. I'm pulling this up now just so you can have it here. According to the state of Oregon, there is a total of 3 million registered voters. 3 million registered voters. 800,000 of them are fake. It's like a third of.
Holy crap! They're mail all mail, and they were just mailing those ballots out.
Yeah. They haven't had a fair election in forever. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
When Oregon admitted as much in settling this case.
Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch. It looks like there's about maybe 4.27, 4.28 million people in Oregon. So you think about 800,000 names coming off the voter roll. That is a massive, massive chunk. Final question, Tom. You've been working on Oregon. What other states are in your sights right now for getting the voter rolls cleaned up?
Well, Illinois, we have an active lawsuit there. California, we've been active, and we'll have another active lawsuit, you can be sure. And we just got notice from Colorado, 372,000 names cleaned up, thanks to another settlement with that state in our lawsuit. So now nationally, we're at 6 million names cleaned up by Judicial Watch's lawsuits and legal actions.
That's amazing. God bless Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch.
They do good work. I believe is that the brothers, the two brothers. I'm trying to think of the name. One has glasses, one doesn't. They're two lawyers.
Succolo.
Jay Succolo and his brother, right?
Yeah, Succolo.
That's them, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there might be a relationship, a relationship.
I thought that was. I think Tom Fitton's just their spokesperson, maybe.
Yeah,
or prep maybe, but I think they're the lawyers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Trump and GOP needs to jump ahead of Dems. And we got this one. John Mansell suggesting search Chrome Web Store. You can search for any extension like your volume booster and add. Thank you. Obviously, we remedied that. Just dropping by to make the obligatory space lasers joke. Much love, Joe. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, only good tidings to you too, my friend. Hi, Joe and Jim. Enjoying the show. Nice.
Thank you, G Shark.
Sonny's family owns some chattel property in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Isn't it always that way? It's like just like Kamala Harris, right? Isn't it always that way? Hands one pack saying Harmeet Dillon sent letter to Texas telling them they need to redistrict, sent link in locals chat. That's what got Texas to redistrict. That's correct. You are correct. She demanded that they do it. That's what started this whole fight in the first place. So, no, that he is correct. I hope you'll keep me on top of any other.
Well, yeah, I just hit a red. So if you see it down there and it's bright, it means it's new. I'll keep it there. You know what I'm saying? It'll pop up.
Oh, okay, fine, yeah. All right.
Otherwise, I won't know it either. I have to keep it to see it.
I
have to keep it out.
Sonny has Sephardic Jewish heritage. Please tell me no. You see, no.
Ask Grok?
No, I am no. I don't even.
I'll ask Grok.
I'll ask Grok. Hey, Grok.
You don't trust me? Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
Does Sonny Hostin have Sephardic Jewish heritage? No, not how many in Austin. I asked, does Sonny Hostin from The View have Sephardic Jewish heritage?
I don't hear anything.
Oh.
What did it think you were asking? How many Sephardic Jews lived in Houston?
Probably a few hundred at most with that heritage. No exact count exists. It's that small.
It thought I was asking how many in Austin have Sephardic Jewish heritage, and then it thought that I was.
I said, yes, Sonny Hostin does have her maternal
Sonny Hostin
grandfather.
And the how many in Austin part got misheard. Yeah, she's got.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's maternal grandfather. She's not Jewish. If it's coming through, if it's not coming through her maternal line, I'm sorry. No, and she basks in her blackness. I'm not. She's not mine. She's yours. I'm not accepting her.
She's not mine.
She's yours.
No,
she's totally yours. Sent me a picture of Briar Fox and T Baby. T Baby. I don't know who T. What is T Baby?
I'm not going to say it again because it caused a kerfuffle.
Is that Thornbird Baby?
Thornbirds. Yes, the Thornbirds. Great new TV show. You should check it out, The Thornbirds. It's on right after Falcon Crest.
What the heck are you? This is.
I didn't make it up. It was a doll, okay, that they covered in tar, and because someone, I think Uncle Remus or somebody wanted to catch the rabbit, and so if you touched it, you got stuck to it. And that's how they caught you. It was like a trap.
How do I walk into this? Why? Austin's daddy was born and raised in New York. Demi, welcome back. New member of the following. Welcome back, my friend. She's been here before. She knows the drill. She knows that I am not at all the leader of the following. I'm just a host. In fact, you could become the leader of the following. Yeah, there's a leader tier there. She may have even become that. They don't tell me what tier someone buys in at. They just tell me they become a member. Sandy, California nurse, says, thank you for giving us some hope, Joe. Get your head out, Somalia. T-Baby was weaponized by Sunny Age. Love you too, Jim. Yeah. Was it really?
I think against Megyn Kelly. Remember the whole thing, and they got Megyn Kelly fired.
Did they really? I don't remember this.
Because she just said something about, if someone's doing a costume when they put on makeup, it's not blackface, and that's when she got fired from whatever CBS, NBC, wherever she was working.
I'm getting a whole history lesson here.
Megyn Kelly, the blonde chick. She was on like Maine.
I know who she is. I know who she is.
Yeah.
Angela Beck says, so Sunny Hostin is being added to the manifesto. I don't know, maybe. You heard about my manifesto, I assume.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
I'm working on a manifesto.
I don't think you should call it a manifesto.
No.
That has very negative connotation.
It is specifically a manifesto, because what I realized after Cole Allen came out with his manifesto is that when the situation ripens and it's time to go off half-cocked, the last thing you need to be doing is sitting down and writing your manifesto. I need to have my manifesto ready to go. So I've been working very, very hard on air here in drafting my manifesto so that if the situation ever arises, not that anyone can foresee a set of circumstances that such events would unfold, but if in fact it ever arose, that I would be good to go on the manifesto thing, that would be locked away.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Call it a Manifest Joe.
No,
because you don't want it to be like Manifesto Destiny.
No, it's a manifesto. It expels out all the problems with society that I need and I'm trying to correct. So that's what it does. So far I hit on neocons, I hit on Barack Obama. Obviously, I hit on Taylor Swift and the Swifties because that's a serious problem. The manifesto is going strong. Anyhow, I want to move on to like what I promised I was going to cover, and that's speaking of this guy. I thought it's important for me to share with you the updates for what I wanted to share with you the video that was released that had a that dropped today about Cole Allen. So we have Cole Allen updates specifically that we get to see exactly what happened. This is Jeanine Pirro dropped this today. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. She shared this out today, and it's basically what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner behind the scenes that now we get to see live and in living color. So,
great TV show in living color.
Yeah, well, I don't know if someone who has your opinions would agree with that, but okay.
It was great. It had the Wayans brothers. That's where what's her face made her debut. J-Lo made her debut as a dancer.
Yeah. So here we are in the hallway here. This is obviously.
Well, it's a long video.
It's 5.5 minutes.
Does it have the actual attack thing that he does? Because I saw a video of that was very clean, like very good. Like
If you can find that, if you can share that with me, I'd appreciate that. Here is Cole Allen marching down the hallway here. I don't understand why the timestamp says Friday. That's a little strange. I guess it's showing it's Friday at 8:59 p.m. So I guess this is him scouting out. I guess. Yeah, that's got to be what's happening. Now he comes by the hotel gym. Let me see this scumball. We're going to play this a little faster so we can, because nothing much is happening here. Making a little chit chat. You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a ladies' man. Now talk. So it's unclear here exactly. And this is what they obviously increased the playback speed by 300%. This is at 9:01 p.m. So this would make sense to be the day before. Because I think the attack happened at like 8:30 p.m. Saturday. And there he is walking back down the hall. Approximately 3 minutes pass. Let's see, it's now 9:06 p.m. There he is walking back down. Coming back. I don't know what it is that he's doing with this gym. But there he walked past the gym. This is the next day at approximately 8:23 p.m. I guess that's just video they have him. Here he is with his little trench coat.
I wonder if they're going to show all this other video.
I'll slow it down now because we're getting close to action time.
It's actually quite telling. Like, this is better video. There was a dog, like a explosives dog, right there at the door that he goes into. The guy with the dog's going at the door, and then all of a sudden the guy comes running out right past the guy and the dog with the gun.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's like, what?
You'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You'll see.
But you couldn't see that in the original first video they put out. You couldn't see anything going on over there. It looked like just a blur.
Right. So I think we saw this in black and white on the night of the shooting. There he goes in the back there. That was him walking by.
There's the dog right there. See
the dog's going after him.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And they pull the dog away. That's really interesting. And there he comes. Just run on through. Just run on through.
The guy's holding the dog back. He should have let the dog go.
Yeah. So now they're going to show you in slower what happens here. But they're all standing around just completely just like mystified as to what's going on.
I sent you the one video that has a blown up section of what's going on over at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And
all
you
right.
can see like, so, and then another one that's whatever. The first one's the blown up one. Second
right.
one.
So this is in roughly 1/3 speed. There is the dog with the guy. Now this agent over here, this police officer over here, fires 2 shots. He sees, look how fast this is. This is actually pretty quick. He pulled his gun already.
That guy got his gun out. Oh, there's one.
Yeah. You think we're getting in trouble?
Oh, there is. Those people on that back wall are so lucky they didn't catch one in the head.
I was gonna say, this seems kind of crazy. It seems kind of crazy that, like, I mean, you ask yourself what they should do in that scenario. You know, do you think this cop did something wrong in discharging his weapon there?
No, they had to do their job. I'm just saying it. But what I'm saying is, like, they got lucky. I think they got lucky simply because this officer that drew the gun and fired looked kind of short to me. So they were pointing up to get him in the head. So anything that went past him was going up. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was a tall cop and he was shooting down. Those people would have got hit back there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it could be like a little reckless here. Well, that's the first thing. It's like it's a miracle that no one got killed.
It's a split-second decision. This officer made the right decision. As soon as she saw, or I think it's a woman, as soon as she saw the threat, she drew her weapon and fired.
Yeah.
All these other people were just standing around with their dicks in their hands.
All of them are just sort of like looking off into space.
And she's got her gun out. That is a woman, right?
I think so.
I mean, kudos to her.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But it does seem like really scary. Like you miss, and it's like, and you can see how his body is sort of like tilted a little bit. It's a tight window. I understand it's a close shot, but it's a tight window, and it's everything's happening very, very fast. This is 1/3 speed, and obviously slower with like freezing. And another shot. How did they not hit him?
And this guy just ducks, and like
how did she not hit him?
It's moving. He's moving fast enough. She might have closed her eyes when she pulled the trigger. I mean, that's a very common reaction for a lot of people. If they don't do a lot of shooting, they'll close their eyes. You know what I mean? And just pull the trigger. Right. But it looked like she was tracking him. She didn't just stay shooting in the same spot. She got there, moved here. She was trying to track him, but she might have just. Or it's someone saying it's a man. I don't know if it's a man or woman. Whoever it was, kudos for making that. You know what I mean? I was just saying if it's a whatever. It was that's all.
It makes this video, given the fact that one of them got shot off, it makes this video seem kind of a little mean.
Mm-hmm.
He's running in the background. He's running in the background as they're like busy like dancing and line dancing there. It's pretty funny. It's funny, but it's mean. It's funny, but it's mean. Yes. Anyhow, but I'm curious about it. So you think that taking the shots there was the right call?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
definitely. No, it's split-second decision. Because if nobody fired and because they were worried about other people around, I mean, and this is going to sound cold, but that's their job to get shot if necessary. I'm sorry.
Right. It's true. It's
true. To protect the people in there. I mean, I'm sorry. That's their job. I didn't tell them to take that job.
There had been all this talk about whether or not one of the officer who took a shot to the vest was shot by friendly fire, or
you can see him in the one video that I saw. You can see him fire the shotgun.
Let's see what you're sharing here.
Okay.
So it's the first one.
That's the one that's a close up. They're not long. You can play them both. The first one's going to show him with the dog, real good. What happens with the dog, and that dog handler in me would have some words. That's all. Because what the hell, your dog is alerting to somebody there, and you're just like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?"
And he literally comes out a second later.
Yeah.
Dog is like, "What the heck is going on here?" No, stop bothering the nice man.
Yeah, no. That'd be racist if you went by him. Don't go over there. It looks like he's talking to the guy.
Yeah, he does.
This guy's like turns around. What the hell? He didn't even draw his gun yet. Look at him. That guy. I'm sorry. That guy should be fired.
Yeah. Yeah,
that guy should be fired. Sorry, buddy. You failed. You didn't even draw your gun. You didn't do anything. You just kind of went like.
That's astonishing.
Oh my God.
This is just a terrible, terrible, terrible look. This is a terrible look. How
they're taking down the magnometers.
Now, the second video that you share with us, I'm just curious. Is there anything different from what I shared? Because it looks the same to me.
It should just be like a short video.
Yeah, it's a 1-minute video, but I think it's just.
I think that's the one where if you go through, you'll see like right here, you'll see him shoot like right at 5-6 seconds. You see him take the shot. He raises the gun and fires. Like right at like 5-6 seconds, he raises the gun and fires.
I'm really nervous about what YouTube's going to do to me for sharing this video.
It's newsworthy, but right as he comes through, he fires.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I think he saw the person pointing a gun at him and so raised and fired.
Yeah. So at least, yeah, I appreciate that, you know, would you rather have the firing cop or the one who's walking that dog and basically it's like, oh, nothing to see here?
Well, we had a bunch of those walking the dog cops at Butler.
Yeah, apparently. Although at Butler, someone took him out ultimately, but late. Yes, I agree with you. But I mean,
he should have never got on the roof. And once he was on the roof, he should have been immediately taken out on the roof. There should have been always somebody with eyes on those roofs. I mean, that's like basic stuff, man.
You would think. You would think. So, to me, I think that this is. I don't think that this. I think the cops could have looked worse. The cop who's taking the shot there is like sort of saves them from looking like utterly incompetent. I mean, the reality is everything's happening so snap fast. It's very easy Monday morning quarterback to just sort of yell at the cops like, you know, what's going on? What are you doing here? You have 9 cops and you're all sitting around basically picking your nose.
Well, that's the thing. If a cop makes a split-second decision to do something and he makes a mistake, you give him a pass for that. But if a cop panics or freezes and doesn't do anything, that's not somebody you can have in that position.
True.
You know, you can't have a pilot that freezes up in a problem, or someone, a boat captain, or any. You know, you can't have a person that's responsible for other people's lives that freezes when they're under pressure.
Yeah, Night Mode Cyclist is saying, "How can it look worse? This is about as worse as you can get." You have several standing by the wall. And what I would say to you is, we're watching like what is clearly the end of the shift. You saw them taking down the thing. They don't think anyone else is coming. They sort of feel like their night is wrapping up, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe they should, you know.
Well, the thing didn't even really start yet.
Right. I guess they're looking at it that the majority of people had arrived already. And yeah, it's they don't look great. That's why you have memes mocking them that they're line dancing while a guy is walking on is you know, skirting on through there. But I'm saying at least one of them was alert enough to like bam bam in like half a second draw their weapon and fire. Like that was really that one cop impressed me, even though they missed, but they impressed me that they were that alert, because you saw in real time just how fast things happen. So,
I mean, the question I have is the only area that a threat could have came from was the direction of the metal detectors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only place that any danger could have come from. Every one of them should have been looking in that direction.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. I feel as if I'm trying to be a realist about humans, and like, because of what happened, people are not being a realist about just the way humans are. That there's sort of like a moment of like settling down and like just sort of caught unawares. I'm not saying that this is fine police work by the you know, the other 8 people standing around picking their nose. And like, I'm simply saying, I don't know that I would call it a fireable offense. That some of that you know,
they should be reassigned. They shouldn't be on protection details anymore.
Right. And you could say that perhaps Secret Service should be overseeing that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have the President of the United States there, these are cops. These are not Secret Service who are there. And what I'm saying is that perhaps
those
Secret
are like
Service,
regular cops. They should never be on a protection detail again. They should never be assigned to any type of security.
Right. And I would say that, you know, that would make sense. You want to tell me that this is evidence that you can't rely on cops to be handling people, you know, to be handling the gate at somewhere where the president is attending. Okay, that I'm totally in agreement with. What I'm saying is, I don't have that much confidence, and this is, you know, I'm not trying to indict any particular individual police officer, but I don't have that much confidence that they have nearly the same focus and attention that I would demand of Secret Service. And that's why, like, if there were, if a bunch of them are sort of lollygagging near the end of the event when things from their end they feel like it's closing down, like I'm not surprised by that. And I would, I'm not saying that's a fireable offense. In contrast, the guy who's got the dog, I think that is a fireable offense. I agree with you 100%. That guy should be paid, should be put on leave. I mean, that was
if you look at the video, Joe, there are the one who pulled the gun and fired is Secret Service, uniformed Secret Service. The two other people standing to the left of him or her is also uniformed Secret Service. They're wearing a uniform. It says Secret Service Police on it. The guy in the suit is a regular Secret Service agent, like an actual agent, and he stinks. The two people taking down the magnetron or whatever the fuck it's called, the metal detector, they're both uniformed Secret Service, but they might be like technical people or something, like technical people that might not actually be people who, they might just be techs. They might not be cops per se. Like that says Police Secret Service.
This does say Police Secret Service.
And then the two to the left with the black. Now the ones with the blue on their arms, those are Capitol Police officers.
These over here.
Yes.
So these are Capitol Police officers. This one on the ground is Secret Service. It looks like on the back. Same way you see Secret Service on the one.
Right, but like I'm saying is those might not be like off. They might be technical people, like they do like set up the magnetometers and set up other stuff and surveillance equipment, and they might be like techs, not like cops. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might not even have guns.
Okay, that's more. Okay, as you're breaking this down, I agree with you. It's more of an indictment. Secret Service should be. They shouldn't be like just sort of, chilling like this. Yeah, this is more of an indictment of their work. I hadn't noticed that it says Secret Service on the.
Yeah, the only one person that was looking at the only way people could get in, because the doors there are locked. These doors are locked, but still somebody could try to break the door down.
These doors are not locked because people come in. You'll see, like as soon as everything goes in, you see that door is opening there. Look at this door.
Maybe there's agents outside the door then standing there guarding or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But after they hear the shots, they come running on in there to see what's going on. So, those doors are not locked. You're saying that they're busy being guarded.
Maybe guarded on the other side or something.
Yeah,
people aren't supposed to come in or out there. That might be like one of the escape ways for someone to get out. That might be like one of the exits to get a protectee out.
I do think that here's a thought that we should have, that in the event of something like this happening, I don't think you should have every agent abandoning this post here, because for all we there could be a second shooter behind who come running in afterwards. Yeah, the first one come in like as a decoy, and then have the second one come in when all of them have their backs turned. I mean, look how all of them just sort of converge, and there's only one doofus left.
There's so many things about this that bother me. Like, what if it was somebody who had a bomb?
Yeah.
I mean, if it would have been somebody with a suicide vest.
Okay, so there's Capitol Police. Oh, this is the guy who was shot, right?
I don't know.
She looks like she's dragging him away.
No, I think that guy just freaked out and fell down.
Oh, it's a woman, I think. Yeah.
They went and hid in another room over there. So that's what they did. The Capitol Police went and hid in a room off to the side.
Police were like, this is not our job. This is why we got Secret Service here.
Hey, you're shooting balls, so let's hide.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy had a real struggle getting his gun out. He had a real struggle getting his gun out.
This guy should have had like an MP7 or something hanging on a sling under his arm that all he had to do was go like this and pull it up.
Yeah. Let's watch in slow-mo. Okay, so far these three are still off in space, right? These are all Capitol Police, presumably.
Yeah.
These two are busy doing their job. These two, I don't know what the hell they're. He's making time with his girl over here or something, and this guy is actually eyes on the prize. We don't know what he's looking at. It could be that something is important that's grabbing his attention here.
But their only mistake that's possible, I don't know if it happened or not. This person, when he saw the gun, immediately is supposed to yell "gun, gun, gun."
Right.
So I don't know if he did because there's no sound. He might have.
Right. But we're seeing 6 Secret Service here. 6 Secret Service. 1, 2, I assume he's Secret Service. 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 Secret Service, and yeah. You assume that they were yelling "gun, gun, gun," right?
You assume.
Although there's no reaction of people.
There's no reaction from any of these people. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe they didn't.
Yeah, he still doesn't seem to know that anything is happening. Which, if he was screaming "gun, gun, gun," they would know that. Yeah, this is not a good look. This is not a good look. But then the point I was getting at is everyone's just gone. Like, there's no one guarding here anymore. These people are going in. So you got 2 more people here. Everyone there just disappears, and you're leaving this guy alone here. Like,
yeah, somebody could have walked in behind him. This could have been a whole diversion, and then 2 guys could have came in with actual real guns and just started laying waste to everybody.
Yeah, that's what scares me. It's that the protocols here seem like they might need some sort of better system here in case there actually is a real attack that's coordinated by 3 different people.
Yeah. I mean, something that I thought of, and I brought it up on my show when I talked about this. I don't know if I told you about it or not. I think what we might be seeing here is that everything, all this theater, it's theater about. I'm not saying this isn't how I'm saying it's theater. It's security theater, like going through the TSA at the airport. Take your shoes off. It's to make other people feel safe. It's to make the protectees feel safe. But if somebody wants to do something, they can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what we've been through so far. You got Butler, you got the guy that jumped over Mar-a-Lago, you got the guy that shot him when he was golfing, you got this. Like, they got JFK, they took out other, Reagan got shot. So basically, if somebody wants to do it and they're not on the radar, you know what I'm saying? And they can get close enough, they're gonna probably get a shot off.
And let's take it to the next situation here, okay? The 3 assassination attempts, as far as we know, were all 3 Americans who we'll call 3 loner crackpots, right? Assuming that you disregard the conspiracy chatter. So,
Joe, there was also a guy that tried to get into the White House with a shotgun, and there was also the guy that went to Mar-a-Lago with the shotgun. So you can't ignore those 2.
Okay, but my point is that each case here, we're talking about a loner crackpot. But we know Iran wanted him dead. You would imagine that they're a little bit more organized. They're a little bit more, they're able to get a bunch of, it's easy for them, in theory, to assemble a bunch of people.
That's the truly frightening thing, Joe. That's a truly frightening thing. If a dedicated, smart team that can plan it out and had, like, basically, like, watch the movie JFK, triangulation of fire, all like what Joe Pesci was saying. If somebody actually did that, I don't think the Secret Service could stop them. Right? That's how they got Kennedy.
Yeah, but when you're looking at this video, we as laypersons, I as an idiot who knows nothing about how to conduct some sort of raid attack, has 0 training, and I see an obvious flaw here. You think Iran can't exploit this? You think that they couldn't send 4 or 5 people in?
I mean,
together?
When you're at the airport, they have those. I mean, I know it's theater, but at the airport they have those things you have to walk through. The ropes and stuff. The different ropes of the balustrades or whatever they're called. That hold the ropes.
Balustrades.
Balustrades. So to make people zigzag, so you can watch them. You know what I mean? That's what should have been happening down that hallway. That should have been there for them to get through. And these things should have been off to the side. So the people have to actually, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I mean, sometimes the actual layout doesn't allow for that. But you're right. If they had like a chain thing back and forth there, that it's just sort of set up to, that you have to like either hurdle them, but it makes a much more challenging thing. That would slow the progress of anyone who is coming, people who are trying to get in there. That would be a logical thing to do. This looks like a joke. This looks like something that if there were 5 people here, I think the conversation would be, I think this could have easily been a successful attack.
Well, they would have definitely got a bunch of people inside the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of like, can the people who are around him protect him from the attackers? But yeah, this could have been a disaster. This could have been a real disaster. Because this right here, what we see on the screen, this is a bad look for the Secret Service. I mean, it's not like this part over here is too pretty, but just how they all abandoned. There's one dude left. There's one dude who's now watching the door. And Lord knows if there's anyone watching outside here when he saw all the people running in. So if there was another team that was coming in this way, and they all got their backs. They got their backs to the entrance. We would be talking about mass casualties. This is not a good look. I mean, Trump is praising them for the great job that they did, but this is not a good look. I don't know.
Yeah, it should have been the hotel should have been completely locked down.
Yeah.
Like, nobody should have got within a block of the hotel without them knowing who they were, their background. And, you just jumped on a train and went to Chicago and then came to DC and stayed here for just 2 nights and you're not attending the thing. Why are you here?
Aaron, multiple chapters, not one on Ginos, multiple. Kimmy, watch 3 female officers against the wall. They run, trip, and fall. They're Capitol Police. I don't expect anything from Capitol Police. So, Erica responded like a normal human. Dog was amazing. That's true. I agree. People who are critical of Erica, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Erica Kirk. I'm not at all a huge fan of hers. I have like little. I don't care either way. It just feels so gross the way people are routinely trying to find things to basically attack her on.
I mean, she reacted how anybody who just lost their husband in a shooting would act if they were at a place and all of a sudden a shooting breaks out where they're supposed to be safe and they think there's no way that, so yeah, she was like, I just want to go home. I mean, yeah, I would probably said the same thing. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
With Erica Kirk.
The officer got 5 shots. He was also the one who got hit by the buckshot. Oh, okay. So I guess Cole got him rather than him getting Cole. So I don't know how it is that guy is still alive and wasn't put down in the moment. I mean, I guess they say he was tackled.
I'm kind of glad he's alive because then they can't try and wipe his history and say, oh no, he was really a Republican. Like they did with the Butler kid.
That's actually Sherry Lou who said exactly what you just said. The officer that was doing the shooting was the one shot. That's the reason for the circle on the video. Oh, okay. Joe, the cop shoots them from the other side of the room. You can see the muzzle flash. Secret Service is lying. Good to see you, by the way. Good to see you. How you been, GMB? It's been a minute. It's good to see you. Every once in a while, I see some of these old faces that I haven't seen in a minute, and it's very heartwarming.
We used to always do later streams, Joe.
Did
I remember always seeing you at like 1 a.m.
Did I? I don't remember that at all.
Okay, maybe I'm making it up.
I think you're totally making that up. These are things that never happen. A couple times I did 24-hour streams, but those were like, that's when I was like running like a campaign.
I may never have to do a 24-hour stream because I said I would do one when I get 10,000 subs. So I don't think I'll ever get there. So
I think you will. Why wouldn't you?
I just don't. I don't think I'll ever grow. I mean, I'm just growing slow and steady, like 100 subs a month.
Yeah, so?
Well, it'll take 10 years then.
8. And I think you probably go.
Who's going to want to see me when I'm like, listen, you candy kids, go over here and I'll tell you, get off my lawn.
Get. be able
Back
to
in my day.
pull a mask off and say, if it wasn't for those meddling kids, you would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was not a pretty moment for the Secret Service. Definitely not a good moment for them. I didn't have my locals chat open. Make sure that I'm on top of that, because that's an important thing. But I think I'm good over there. I am good over there. I have to peek in there every once in a while. All right. Anyhow, I want to move on to talk about Grant Plattner.
And of course, you got to talk about the SPLC too. Okay.
What am I talking about? The SPLC?
Their fundraising video.
Their fundraising video. You want to remind me?
It's in the private chat. They need money, so they're under attack. So they're trying to get more money.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's amazing. They're being honest with everyone though about everything.
Let me see what you share with me here. No, this is the. You shared it with me?
Yeah,
oh, there it is.
Right there, it says SPLC just released a new fundraising video.
Oh, yeah. You're saying when I was doing
now you remember.
Yes. This is the SPLC's new fundraiser. This is a good intro to Grant Plattner.
In the arms of an Aryan, far away from here, in your fortified compound, and no colored folks that you fear.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Will you be an angel for a helpless white supremacist? Every day, white people are employed, married, and raising children. And they're fine. But it's the racists who need our help.
It's true. They do.
Please, call the number on your screen with a monthly gift today. For only $18 a month, 60 cents a day, you'll provide white nationalists with event coordination, funding,
nice,
tiki torches, and khakis. Lots and lots of khakis.
Lots and lots of khakis.
But most importantly, you'll have the villain you need to be the hero in your narcissistic liberal fantasy world. Call or join online in the next 30 minutes, and you'll receive a photo of an extremist who's been given a second chance, thanks to you. Please call right now. There's a white supremacist who needs you. But let's be honest. You need him more.
No, those are facts.
I know that guy. That's Dave Landau. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
That is pretty funny. Well done. Well done indeed. Well, you may not be familiar with this guy because he's only been circulating in leftist circles. Before I get into him, you need to understand what's going on in the great state of Maine. Well, I don't know if we should call it the great state of Maine. We'll call it the moderately okay state of Maine. So, because they've gone hardcore blue. Well,
I don't understand why. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why Mills dropped out. I really don't. I don't. Like, she claims she didn't have money. You're meaning to tell me that the Democrat Senate people decided that they wanted to support Nazi dude instead of Janet Mills?
Democrat Maine Governor Janet Mills has dropped out of the race for U.S. Senate. Mills previously went viral after President Trump called her out to her face for refusing to comply with his executive order banning men from women's sports. 1 year later, Mills says she has to suspend her campaign for U.S. Senate because she doesn't have the financial resources. She dropped out just weeks before her Democratic primary against Grant Plattner. Quote, while I have the drive and passion, well, I think we have a clip here. Do I have? No. While I have the drive and passion, commitment, experience, and above all else, the fight to continue on, I very simply do not have the one thing that political campaigns unfortunately require today, the financial resources, she said. This is Trump calling her out.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it? I'm complying with state and federal laws. We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. The NCAA.
Well, apparently his prediction came true because she's not going to be elected in politics. In lieu thereof, they've gone with Grant Plattner.
Yeah, this was just like a year and a half ago that happened between Trump and her. It wasn't that long ago. It was during his first year.
Yeah. We should I had here I kind of when I reset everything, I sort of lost one of the main links that I had here as to who he is. But I guess this one that I have I guess this one. This is how the DNC is licking Grant Plattner. They are loving this guy. I'm a Maine reporter who went to high school with Grant Plattner. Here's what explains his success. Plattner is not just running ahead of Governor Janet Mills for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. He's possibly the most remarkable political story in the country. In 2002, my classmate Grant Plattner ran for student body president. Oh, Lord, you're going to give me a pop-up here? Of John Baptist Memorial High School in Bangor. So he was in high school just in 24 years. That's 24 years ago. Okay. I remember watching him in our auditorium debate his fellow candidates. He was a radical, wearing revolutionary proletarian costume, overalls, and red armband. When I asked him about this recently, he told me he thought he had a history presentation to give that day. I don't recall the issues they discussed, but I do remember Plattner proposing collective action to overturn some school policy, saying something along the lines of, "They can't suspend us all." The history teacher serving as moderator interjected to remind Plattner and everyone else that, yes, in fact, they could. Students elected the safe candidate, a future chiropractor. But Plattner had other outlets. Look at how this writer, what's this writer's name? Josh Keefe, is sitting here just like on his knees praising Grant Plattner. Students elected a safe candidate. Around that time, he skipped school to protest the coming Iraq war with President George Bush, visited our local airport, and was forcibly removed by the Secret Service. In the high school yearbook, our class voted him most likely to start a revolution. So he looks like a psychopath. Tell me this doesn't look like a psychopath. Seriously.
Total psychopath.
Nearly a quarter century later, Plattner, now 41, is now the probable Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate seat held by Republican Senator Susan Collins. He's arguably the most remarkable political story anywhere in the country. Look at how they're lavishing such amazing praise. Like, oh, what a hero he is. Oh, they love him. They're so in love with him. They're so in love with him. But he has a past. So the left is desperately trying to get at the public to ignore his past and all the problems that might potentially present. So as we see here, Maine's Grant Plattner thinks voters will overlook his past to support a new type of candidate. Of course, another stupid pop. Oh, thanks. In another world, revelations of problematic social media posts, a tattoo closely resembling a Nazi symbol.
It was a Nazi symbol. It didn't resemble shit. It was a Totenkopf.
You see? Yeah. You want to pull up what a Totenkopf is? It's a skull.
Okay. I didn't really want that in my search history, but okay.
And a sudden turn in campaign staffers would be enough to sink any political candidate. But Grant Plattner, a Democrat looking to flip a Maine U.S. Senate seat in a key 2026 contest, isn't stepping aside. A plain-speaking oyster farmer and combat veteran, Plattner has been open about mistakes he says he made in the past and I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Look, we've all made mistakes. He believes voters want to see new Democratic faces who will fight for them, and he's betting that the old rules of politics with highly vetted candidates and emphasis on propriety no longer apply. And that's what the DNC is betting also. See how they lean into Trump being a convicted felon. And last week, Virginia voters supported Jay Jones for Attorney General even after text messages the Democrats sent calling for violence against political rivals became public. Plattner is convinced his brand of gruff populism and calls for economic equality are what's needed to unseat Republican Senator Susan Collins, a 5-term incumbent. And it's pathetic that they have this ridiculous marshmallow Susan Collins, who's an utter disaster. It's almost like I'm not like crying over the potential loss of Susan Collins.
Yeah, but
but this guy's a lunatic.
Sometimes a Republican seat, you know.
This guy's a lunatic. I'm not doing this because I want power, I want influence, or I want money. Of course, that's why you're doing it. I'm doing it because we need better politics, and I'm committed to that project. This guy is a psychopath. So, attended Hotchkiss School, a pricey Connecticut prep school, and said he was swiftly thrown out his freshman year after behavioral problems and trouble adjusting. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. He seems like someone who was beaten as a kid. The home not far from, and who has real issues. The home not far from boat launch near his oyster farm is adorned with pictures of himself and Amy, the yard, whatever. When he returned home from service, Plattner says he was disillusioned, struggling with PTSD, and in an overwhelming sense, his neighbors crushed by the cost of housing and healthcare. That's why he went to Nazism, because he was so concerned about his neighbors. Naturally, that makes a lot of sense. Makes tons of sense.
It's weird because he said he wants to be like Canada, and Canada actually has a way worse housing crisis than we do. Way worse unemployment. They're like double the rate of unemployment. They're like the medium price, like in American dollars, the median home price is like almost 40% higher in Canada than it is in the US. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, Canada is a disaster with their housing. It's horrifying. So you see how the left is basically doing everything they can to prop him up.
This is an actual one, the picture from the the only thing I could find was his, and you can't really see it, but his is like all colorful with like red and blood and stuff on it and everything. So like that's what it's supposed to look like. And this is what he had.
Yeah.
You can see the eyes, you can see the two bones coming out the sides, eye holes. It's a Totenkopf. It's not like similar. It is.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm wondering like why a lot of people might not realize, and this is what tells me that he's actually a coward, like most bullies are. And he strikes me as your classic, deeply insecure, overcompensating type of guy. And part of the cowardice is, you know, if he had cojones, he would have just gotten the swastika. You know what I'm saying? But instead, he takes something that is known by people who are familiar with the Third Reich as being a Nazi symbol, but not known by the average person who sees it. I'm curious about the Totenkopf symbol, maybe how that's tied into Nazism. Let's ask Grok that question. I think that's a good question for Grok. Let's see what we got here.
Isn't that what's commonly called the death's head? There's nothing there. No, okay. I thought you were pulling mine up.
Yeah, no. I didn't mean to whatchamacallit. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay, so I want to ask you, Grok, if you can tell me the Totenkopf symbol, the Totenkopf, the skull that's related to Nazism. Can you explain what the relationship is with Nazism?
The Totenkopf, or Death's Head Skull, predates Nazism by centuries. It was used by Prussian hussars in the 1700s under Frederick the Great, then by Black Brunswickers in the Napoleonic Wars as a symbol of defiance or mourning. The Nazis picked it up early. Hitler's bodyguard unit adopted it, And when that grew into the SS, it became their cap insignia. Heinrich Himmler said it reminded SS men to be ready to die for the cause. Specifically, the SS Totenkopfverbände, the guys who ran the concentration camps, wore it on their collar tabs. Parts of that unit later became the 3rd SS Panzer Division, Totenkopf, which committed war crimes on the Eastern Front. So the link to Nazism isn't that they invented the symbol, it's that they turned it into the logo of their most ruthless death machine. After the war, neo-Nazis kept using it for exactly that reason, which is why it sets off alarms today. That's the relationship.
Yeah. Can you also, with respect to Grant Plattner, can you give me a link to the Politico article about Plattner reshuffling his campaign and sending out NDAs? This is what I wanted to share with you.
Here's the link, Politico.com. It covers the campaign shakeup, new manager, and sending out those NDAs.
Plattner reshuffles campaign and sends out NDAs as he struggles to get ahead of controversies. So this was from October. Just tilt this back a little bit better. Graham Plattner is shaking up his campaign amid a swirl of controversy, bringing in a longtime friend to function as his Maine Senate campaign's new manager, hiring a compliance firm and sending non-disclosure agreements to staffers. Kevin Brown, who became the campaign manager this week and whose past campaign work includes presidential bids of Elizabeth Warren and Barack Obama, though he has not worked in Maine, is only one of the changes. The campaign has also brought on in-house attorney as well as compliance firm Spruce Street Consulting, which has ties to a constellation of buzzy progressives, including Zohran Mamdani. Amid fallout from Plattner's controversial years-old social media posts, which we should take a look at those, his campaign began sending non-disclosure agreements to staffers last week, according to his former top political director, Genevieve McDonald, who said she declined to sign one. Quote, "The campaign offered me $15,000 to sign an NDA," McDonald told Politico in an interview. "I did not accept the offer. I certainly could have used the money. I quit my job to work on Plattner's campaign, believing it was something different than it is." A statement from the campaign referred to the $15,000 offer as standard severance. A Plattner campaign spokesperson said the team recently hired Spruce Street to take over campaign compliance to institute standard practices that had yet to be put in place. Some of those standards had to be instituted retroactively, but as a matter of course, we do not require anyone previously involved in the campaign do so. McDonald was offered severance, which is standard for all campaign employees and contractors. So that's their claim.
Yeah. Didn't the Democrats pass a law saying NDAs were illegal or something like that back, a few years back?
I don't remember that.
I could swear.
I don't remember anything of the kind. The moves to salvage a campaign months after its launch underscore how fast Plattner took off and how imperiled he finds himself, which unfortunately he doesn't find himself imperiled anymore. In a crucial state for Democrats in their uphill quest to retake the Senate, Plattner burst onto the scene with viral videos as kind of progressive warrior poet campaigning for Mainers' freedom to live, a life of dignity and joy. But his promising bid has been beset by negative stories about his past over the last week. Shortly after, Mills, favored by national Democrats, take on Collins, entered the primary. Well, she didn't last long. Revelations of the staffing changes and non-disclosure agreements, which have not been previously reported, come as Plattner's campaign is in damage control. On Wednesday, the candidate confirmed to the Advocate that his Reddit posts, including homophobic slurs, anti-LGBTQ jokes, and sexually explicit stories denigrating gay men, which I would be shocked.
I think we're going to just have to see if they actually.
I would be shocked if this guy is not closeted. I would be shocked. I have no doubt. I'm telling you right now, not because of any, this is my pure speculation opinion. Everything about him screams Kevin Spacey type of closeting, of trying to hide his screwed up brain and how he's closeted. I'm sorry, you were saying something.
I would be shocked if there's commercials. I don't have commercials. Someone just yelled at me about commercials. I don't have any commercials. We have to see if they actually fund him. If it's not just maybe it's possible. Maybe they looked at internal polling and they looked and told Mills, "This ain't your time. Get out." We don't want to dump a bunch of money into Maine. We got other chances. It's going to be a tough. Like, I don't know how Collins is polling. She's very popular in Maine. They always said she was going to lose, and they never, you know what I mean? They always tried that to say, like, oh, she's going to lose, and she always won by 5-6 points.
She's looking. He was plus 38.
That polling can't be right.
I saw
against who? Against Mills or against Collins?
Against Mills.
Oh, well.
Yeah. No,
well, maybe people in Maine hate Mills because of the way she was a governor and what she did. That's quite possible, but
true. That follows Plattner expressing regret over getting a Nazi symbol tattooed on his chest 20 years ago, along with previously unearthed offensive Reddit posts, including one from 2013 downplaying sexual assault in the military, and another since deleted 2018 one suggests violence is necessary to enact social change. That's who this lunatic is. He promoted violence for social change. He is a lunatic, this guy.
I mean, it's not that far of a journey from Nazi to communist.
Yeah. Plattner has apologized to the Post and said they do not represent his growth in recent years. This is the new symbol that he got to change to try and mask who he actually is, because I think he's very adept at masking.
Well, he only got this tattoo covered up after it all came out. He went and got it immediately done. Like, oh shit, they know about it. I got to get it covered.
Yeah. Brown, the new campaign manager, declined to comment on the record. The non-disclosure agreement first circulated among the Senate Democrat hopeful campaign in the hours after he came under fire for those Reddit posts last week. The paperwork sent electronically by campaign contractor Sunday to McDonald, who resigned 2 days earlier, was voided by the campaign at 7:04 p.m. Wednesday, several days after she already resigned, and hours after Politico requested comment from the campaign on its use of NDAs. The NDA, titled Graham for Maine NDA PDF, was sent by Victoria Perrone, a political compliance expert and Spruce Street president and founder. Perrone, reached by phone, confirmed Plattner was a client, but would not comment further. McDonald said she understood the financial offer to be conditional on her signing the NDA. She provided a screenshot of a text message from Perrone suggesting Monday that if McDonald could, quote, get it back to me before the end of the day, I can get your payments out the door. So obviously, I'm not getting your payments unless you sign the NDA. McDonald said that Daniel Moraff, who was consultant on Nebraska Senate candidate Dan Osborne's campaign, functioned as the de facto campaign manager prior to Brown's arrival this week. In a brief phone call, Moraff said he was never officially the campaign manager. Either they didn't thoroughly vet him or they didn't think things would be found that they found would be a problem, McDonald said in an interview. Either way, that was a poor calculus. You cannot say things like rural Mainers are racist and stupid, or you're a radicalized communist at 37, play them off as if you were a young man and remain a serious contender against Susan Collins. This was 4 years ago. It's not like it was, decades ago. It's 4 years ago.
The problem, though, is that the mainstream media, Joe, is going to cover up for this guy.
They have been. That's why I was sharing those other articles.
Like, oh, he had something that looked similar.
But they don't.
It was.
The articles I shared didn't tell us anything about what he said. They're like, yeah, he said some controversial type of things in the past, but they didn't actually list any of the things he said. A Plattner campaign representative called McDonald a disgruntled former employee to the Bangor Daily News. It remains unclear whether the controversies surrounding Plattner's past will present a long-term drag on his campaign. A poll conducted over the past week as some of Plattner's Reddit controversies were making news and released Thursday by the New Hampshire Survey Center found Plattner leading Mills in primary matchup 58% to 24% among first choices for Maine's ranked choice voting system, with remaining voters preferring other candidates or undecided. So he was crushing her. He was really, really crushing her. I wish they would have given us more what McDonald had to say about this.
Maine has ranked choice voting or just a ranked choice primary?
I'm not sure. It's a good question. But it's interesting that, Alaska and Maine is where we got Susan Collins and Murkowski, the two of the worst people possible. They're the strongest arguments against ranked choice voting. Here is Senator Van Hollen, Democrat Senator Van Hollen, talking about why he supports Graham Plattner, despite all the controversy around him.
The dude has had a Nazi tattoo. I mean, let's be clear about what's going on here. I mean, how do you view that? I mean, it seems to be at least somewhat disqualifying in traditional.
Certainly historically.
So look, I mean, let's take a couple issues, including the comments he's made in the past. I mean, he's been very clear.
Notice he won't say what those comments were. It was like misogynistic. He was saying that women are at fault if they get. if they get sexually assaulted. The guy's a freaking lunatic.
That he went into combat on behalf of the United States. He went through a really rough period, PTSD type period.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. So that's why he turned to Nazism.
And he has himself said there are lots of things he's done and said that he completely regrets.
Yep.
And I do believe people should have second chances. And
because they look at him as the best hope to unseat Susan Collins. That's the only thing this is. It's always about the power.
That people can learn from their mistakes.
It's always about the power. That's all they care about. There are no values. There is no set of values. It is purely 1000% power and nothing to do with actual values. This is someone who can help us. So this is someone who, let's look at giving him a second chance. You ever hear them say anything about any Republican that way? Of course not.
What that guy should have said to him, Joe, is he should have said, so even Nazis get a second chance?
Yeah.
And when he said yes, you go, okay, so Hitler gets a second chance to run Germany.
Yeah.
Or Himmler or Goebbels or Gold, whatever. I don't know their names.
It's shocking that someone that a Democrat senator would sit down for an interview with would actually ask him that question, because usually they pick puff piece interviewers. So it's kind of shocking that Chris Van Hollen, who's himself quite the lunatic, and we saw his stance on illegal immigrants and how he's going into different countries to try and cry over people being deported. That this jerk over here is only going to find someone who's asking him, layup questions. And you saw how the woman there was like, it was in the past. It was in the past. Everything's in the past. Anything that happened 20 minutes ago is in the past. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
Look at how they attacked Pete Hegseth over his cross. He had a cross. They
Yeah.
attacked him over it like, oh, well, that's a Crusader cross. It's like, what?
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. How many second chances they want to give Pete Hegseth? There was not much inclination to give Pete Hegseth any second chances.
Oh, they just want a second chance at taking him out.
Yeah. So that is your Graham Plattner, and he is now pretty much a shoo-in to be, now that Janet Mills has dropped out, although frankly she was so deep underwater it didn't seem as if she was presenting much of a fight. But he's now a shoo-in that he's going to be the Democratic senatorial candidate in 2026 running against Susan Collins. So we basically have to have a choice between someone who I think he probably personality-wise is somewhat charismatic, which makes him dangerous, to be fair. I mean, I think that he is charismatic. So you have someone who's charismatic and a deranged lunatic Democrat versus career rhino disaster who's 5-time incumbent Susan Collins. Pick your poison. This is just a disaster. This is
Supposedly Susan Collins is what the majority of Maine likes. Milk toast, middle of the road, that's what they are, supposedly. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I get so sickened by everything about her that when I see her face, I just want to retch.
They better use this though. Every Democrat, every Republican running for the Congress, running for the House, House and Senate, should use his. He should be in their ads. This is who they're picking. This is who they gave their money to. This is the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and based on Chris Van Hollen, I would assume that they are giving him money. I would assume that that's what's happening here. So, yeah, it's all about the power. It's all about the power. I do want to share some good news with you. Before I'm going to quickly cover. I'm going to quickly cover the Ken Paxton thing, and I know we're over time here. Unfortunately, we did not hit our goal tonight, so which is very disappointing to me in the sense that I really wanted to go through this song. I'm still thinking about sharing this song, just because I feel like I should get it out of the way now, because my opening song, which was a parody of Ice Ice Baby, is probably going to be something I have to clip out. So if I clip at the beginning and clip at the end, maybe I'll do it that way. Maybe I'll close out with that. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So this is what I want to share with you. 2 bits of good news before I get into a quick coverage of Ken Paxton trying to take on birther tourism. Huge. Jobless claims just came in way under expectations, the strongest number in decades. Check this out.
Initial jobless claims hitting the wires at 189,000. 189,000.
Now, when you just hear a number like that, you can't appreciate how great a number that is, that we have only 189,000 unemployed. So
it's like the best number in like 50 years, right? 50
wow,
years.
that is truly incredible. We're looking at levels truly that we probably haven't seen since the late 60s. This is very, very incredible. And continuing claims, 1,785,000. That would be the least going back to August of the summer of 24, actually April of 24.
So I think when they say 189,000 initial jobless claims, that's like new jobless. It can't be 189,000 across the country who are jobless. But
no, we're at like 3% unemployment, so there's probably a million people or something.
Right.
A couple million people maybe.
Yeah. So but that still is, it's a remarkable thing. And the other thing I wanted to share with you, some good news, came from Speaker Johnson today. So let me just share this with you.
Afternoon, everybody. Despite unrelenting predictions from many of you today in the press that we would fail this week, we did exactly the opposite. I'm really glad to tell you that House Republicans pulled together and delivered some major pieces of legislation and huge priorities for the country in the last few days. Let me give you a couple of examples. We passed the Farm Bill, as you know, a major achievement, delivering real relief and certainty for our rural America, for all Americans. This is the first time Congress has done that since 2018. It's been quite a while, but we got it done. We also made certain that the House is going to be able to have an up or down vote on a date certain on the E15 issue, which is, is a big priority for a lot of our members here in the chamber. And most importantly of all the things we got done this week, we got the budget resolution passed. This is very, very important because that will ensure that border security and immigration enforcement will continue today and well into the future.
We finally got funding for DHS. Finally.
Democrat attempts to reopen our borders and protect criminal illegal aliens from removal. The net result of passing our reconciliation bill is that ICE and CBP are funded for 3 years. Democrats got
for the rest of Trump's administration, they are funded. That's not something you have to worry about anymore.
Absolutely nothing for their political charade and shenanigans out of that. We repeatedly offered in good faith, I want to point out, remind everybody to negotiate on funding these agencies. But ultimately, the sad and actually shocking truth is there's not a Democrat in the House or the Senate that believes border security and immigration enforcement should exist at all. By word and deed, Democrats have made clear their desire to defund both of those critical functions of our government. We also passed the FISA reauthorization to ensure that the administration is armed with the best possible intelligence.
FISA reauthorization, that's what they get.
To continue eliminating terrorists and defending our homeland.
Oh.
We pray that the Senate can now pass our FISA bill as quickly as possible, and they're deliberating over that right now. Now, I just want to say this. Sometimes the process around here is cumbersome. That's the way this works, but in spite of...
Yeah, you suck. All right. Well, at least we got DHS taken care of for the next 3 years. So that's the good news I wanted to share with you. The other good news I wanted to share with you was this story right here about Texas AG. Why is this not? There you go. Texas AG Ken Paxton going after birth tourism center that's being advertised to Chinese nationals. I actually had a copy of the complaint that I started looking through. Haven't really had a chance to go through it, but the lawsuit claims that the postpartum care center has facilitated the birth of more than 1,000 American citizens through birther tourism. This is a good thing, not just in the sense of of going after them individually. It calls attention to the Supreme Court, which currently is deciding whether or not to abolish birth tourism and to uphold Trump's EO. It now is basically calling attention. Here's one group that has over 1,000 to their credit, according to their claims. On Wednesday, Texas, and there are supposedly thousands of these groups, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit against the Houston area center on allegations that has been unlawfully facilitating an invasion of Chinese nationals into the state of Texas for the sole purpose of birthing children and obtaining birthright citizenship, also known as birth tourism operation. The lawsuit claims that the DA Postpartum Care Center, known as the Center, has facilitated the birth of more than 1,000 American-born babies through an illegal, dangerous, and dishonest birth tourism operation in violation of the Texas Penal Code and Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. The scheme has been occurring for nearly 2 decades, according to the complaint. Here's his tweet where he announces it. The center predominantly advertises birth-related services to Chinese clients on popular Chinese social media platforms and websites, and coaches clients on how to circumvent immigration laws when pursuing visas and citizenship for themselves and their child. The coaching includes encouraging Chinese nationals to enter or reside in the United States unlawfully by concealing the fact that their primary purpose of such travel is to give birth. The lawsuit states that the center is seemingly aware of the alleged scheme, as it recently noted on its website that the U.S. federal government is strictly policing birth tourism and recommend that women apply for visas before pregnancy in order to avoid detection. Recent investigations reveal that the center facilitates up to 20 births each day, operating across at least 4 properties in the greater Houston metro, according to the lawsuit. Quote, America is for Americans, not foreigners trying to cheat the system to claim citizenship, said Attorney General Paxton in a press release. The center scheme not only facilitated an invasion of Texas, but also involves shielding and facilitating violations of immigration law. Birthright citizenship is a scam. If you ask me, the whole thing's a scam that threatens national security, and I will do everything in my power to stop unlawful birth tourism schemes like this one. And like I said, to me, much more important than stopping one agency is when the state of Texas files a complaint against an agency that's individually boasting of helping facilitate 1,000 birth tourisms. It only goes to show just how invasive this process is. So if you take a justice, you don't need to convince an Alito or a Thomas, but if you take a justice like, Amy Coney Barrett or John Roberts, and they can basically throw this in their face saying this is just one entity. And there are supposedly thousands of these groups in China. And this is just one. It alerts them to the the seriousness of this, of what's an invasion. We're raising Chinese and gifting them with the opportunity to vote, opportunity to come here. You look at 15 years down the road, and frankly, it's been going on for decades. But you're basically looking at having potentially millions of Chinese people who have no relationship, no allegiance, no interest in America being successful or prospering, very likely being raised in the CCP, having very hostile attitudes towards America, and being deemed no less an American citizen than you or I, where they have no connection to this country, but have all the rights and privileges that you and I so richly enjoy. This is a horrifying, horrifying situation. So for those who are on the fence about whether or not those in the Supreme Court who are on the fence about whether or not to permit Trump to put a stop to birth tourism, which this is only a stopgap measure, obviously, only as long as Trump is in office, or, it could be picked up by a subsequent president. But as soon as we get a Democrat president, this EO is going away. But at the very least, to put a temporary freeze on this happening. And frankly, there are plenty of legal arguments to support the notion that he is fully empowered to put a hold on it. So this is an important. So this helps alert the Supreme Court, and for that I commend Ken Paxton, as I often do, because he does a great job in understanding the political climate and acting in and bringing different actions to help remedy various problems that we have across this country. You have any thoughts on this?
Well, I don't know why the federal government has done nothing with it. Like, where are they?
We can't even get the Save America Act passed.
No, I mean, like, the DOJ should be coming in. Like, this has to be illegal. This can't be legal. How is it legal to do this? To set up things, come here, have a baby, make it a citizen. How is that legal?
If there's no statute prohibiting it, if there's no federal statute prohibiting it, I mean, Ken Paxton is pointing to Texan statutes, but if there's nothing in the federal government that's prohibiting it, good luck. You think the left is going to let you pass it? But this all comes back to John Thune and the utter waste of space that he is, and that he failed.
Isn't the center violating immigration law by getting fraudulent visas for people to come in and setting it up and on false pretenses, lying? Because they're not telling them they're coming to have babies. They're telling them they're coming for some other reason, even though that's all planned ahead of time. So it's got to be like a conspiracy to violate something.
Yeah. Well,
I would think. I don't see, I don't know.
I can ask Grok if it can come up with any statutes that this is violating, but can't hurt, I guess. Right? Can't hurt to see if Grok can come up with something. Hey, Grok.
Hey, what's up?
Can you share with me if you can find any federal statutes that may be violated by a company engaging in birth tourism?
No federal statute directly bans birth tourism itself. Giving birth in the U.S. on a valid tourist visa isn't illegal, but companies running these operations often violate fraud laws by coaching clients to lie on visa applications about their travel purpose, pregnancy, or stay length. The main statutes
But good luck. Now you're going after the individual.
Section 1546, visa fraud, for making false statements in visa.
Well, if they're coaching them, then they're doing something. They're in a conspiracy.
18 U.S.C. Section 371, conspiracy to commit immigration fraud. Related charges like money laundering, healthcare fraud, or false statements to authorities, 18 U.S.C. Section 101. Prosecutors have used these in cases against operators like USA Happy Baby, sentencing them to prison time.
Okay.
The 2020 State Department rule also bars issuing B1, B2 visas, primarily for birth tourism, making entry harder if intent is discovered. Basically, the act isn't outlawed, but lying to get here or running a deceptive business is.
But you can only go after them if they're here. What if they're in China? How do you stop the ones that are operating out of China?
How are they doing these arrangements? Is someone else paying them? Are they getting money from George Soros or some other NGO to facilitate this stuff, to set it up? I mean, you need to.
We need to do a deep dive.
Deep dive and see what's going on, where the money's coming from. Is there other laws? Are they using government money to do it? What are they saying? If you get their communications where they're talking about, yes, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it, because we're going to subvert the United States and take over. Oh, well, I think that might be like insurrection, something. I don't know.
This is how you become Nick Shirley. Do your deep dive into who's funding these birth tourism, because you're almost assuredly right that there's American money that's helping push this along. So this is how you become Nick Shirley. Do a deep dive into who's funding these birth tourism agencies, which means you really need to find a list of birth tourism agencies in China, and then find various organizations, then find some way of checking their records. But how would you check their records? You think if they're based out of China?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that Navel Singham, the guy that funded Code Pink and does all this other stuff, that was, funding all the, the riots, the BLM, the ACAB riots, the anti-ICE riots, that guy, that he's not funding some of it. He's a Chinese, he's a CCP billionaire.
Yeah. After Supreme Court ruling, and we know you can't swear in any Congress, man or woman, to Congress from any state that don't follow Supreme Court ruling. That's Louisiana, Mississippi.
I don't know about that. Congress can swear in whoever they want. Congress sets their own rules.
Yeah, and also, I'm not sure which ruling you're referring to them not following. Even if that were true, I agree with Jim that the House and Senate are each given very broad liberty to enforce their own rules as they so see fit. But the question becomes, and this is part of the reason I'm angry with John Thune, because he could have abolished the filibuster and should have. And the Save America Act is unofficially dead.
It's terrible. You could have just did the standing filibuster, make them stand there and talk, and when they're done talking and no one's talking, pass the bill. I don't get it.
He's scum. He's scum. I hope his political career gets cancer. And I hope that, oh God, everything about him is just a disaster. Yeah. And Mitch McConnell, these people are scum.
Mitch McConnell's wife, father is a CCP official. Make of that what you will. They have a huge business doing transporting stuff from CCP to the United States.
If you get too Nick Shirley, California will form a bill to cancel you. This is true. They actually have formed the Nick Shirley bill designed to stop him. Good night to you, my friend. And that's a good time for me to start landing my plane. I am going to share with you after I say my goodbyes and leave here, because I like you and I care about you, and I mean this sincerely. After I leave, I'm going to share with you a song, and it was created by Brian Coyne 6700. And I'm going to urge you to please go over there for yourself and subscribe to him, because the dude is awesome and brilliant. And he has a number of songs that are similarly inspired and brilliant. It's on YouTube. You can find him there. Brian Coyne. Coyne is spelled Coyne. And I'm going to urge you to check him out, and Brian is spelled with a Y, not an I.